Susan Miller, and I'm Deputy Chair of the charity Handing the Shame Back. And I've got Gloria Masters with me, who's the founder of Handing the Shame Back. She's an all-round amazing human. She's the author of 2 books and a survivor of child sexual abuse. So Gloria, we're going to be talking about how Handing the Shame Back came about. But before we do, for those that don't know you, I was just wanting for you to share some background about yourself, about where you were as a child and where you are now.
Sure. So my first 16 years entailed pretty horrendous child sexual, physical and emotional abuse, mainly perpetrated by my father, and really to the point where I'm very lucky to be here. And I kind of encountered many people who were willing to abuse me and pay a lot of money for it. And so as my spirit started to wane somewhat through all of the horror, I found a light or a strength inside me, and I managed to keep going. So fast track to today, and my purpose is to shine light on this and help others through.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Gloria. So we're really interested to talk about the foundation, and I know you just your second book, Flight Path to Healing, has just been released recently, and yes, so has the foundation really just started in the last couple of months. So really interested to hear about what got you started. Like, what was the pinpoint or the time that made you think, I'm going to start this foundation up? What was happening in your life to get you to the decision?
Well, it's interesting because it was several years ago now, and I went to a global conference, and it was for self-development and learning more about self, and something about it just really pulled me in. And it was over in Cairns, not France, but Australia, for those who were wondering. And there was about 2,000 people. A prerequisite for attendance and acceptance actually was you had to detail 4 incidents in your childhood that had been traumatic, and how you'd overcome them. Well, when I saw that, Susan, I thought 4, I could write 4,000. So anyway, I wrote 4, submitted, got accepted, and off I went. Day one, I had one of the trainers, so we were split into groups of about 60, and I had a trainer approach, and her name was Jackie, and she said, "Are you Gloria Masters?" And I said yes, and she said, "Look, it's such an honor to have you in our group. Thank you." And I was quite blown away and a little bit, I don't know, I just felt I didn't want that type of attention. I just wanted to be there and learn like everybody else.
Right.
And then over the next few days, her and the other male trainer kept approaching me. And finally, on about day 4, they came up as a pair, and I thought, oh no, here we go. And they just said, "Look, we've been observing you and you know what you're doing within this conference, and we just think you would be a person we would really like to get up on that stage and actually address everybody. We think that your story is terrible, but you today you would never have any idea of what you had been through, and we feel it would be really inspirational and actually useful helpful for others who struggle to see a way through and see it's possible.
Right. So
So
that was a pinpointing time when you all of a sudden went, oh, to talk about this in front of other people
yeah.
is going to help them.
Yeah.
That was sort of the connection time. Yeah.
Well, I said no. No, I don't want to do that. Because I didn't really have the self-esteem at that point, Susan, to do that, and I didn't see myself the way others did.
Sure.
So anyway, over the next 24, 36 hours, they came back at me, and I finally agreed, and I stood up to speak, and it was very quick. And I just cried. And when I looked up, everyone was crying. And then a line formed, and one after another approached. And one man whispered in my ear, "Look, thank you. I now feel I can talk about what happened to me." And another woman stepped forward and said, "I'm going back to Greece and I'm going to deal with what's happened to my children." And person after person came forward, and then the penny dropped, and then I realized me holding back wasn't helping me or anybody else. Me stepping forward into the light and showing my truth seemed to hold some measure of hope and a way forward for others.
Yeah. Oh, what an amazing place to get to, and also just have that space. So being called to that place, like you said, I just felt that I needed to go, and this is what needed to happen, unbeknownst to you, of course, but
yes, unbeknownst
it did
to me.
happen. Yeah, wonderful, amazing. And so then from there, can you just sort of talk us through, bridging from there to now?
Certainly.
Yeah.
So look, one of the comments, well, many were, "Gloria, you should be writing a book. You've got to go back to New Zealand and write a book." And one of the trainers, Chris, said, "Look," he said, "you could be helping millions of people across the world." He said, "You just don't see it in yourself, but you could be. Please write a book. Please share your story with the world, because if they saw, what we see, you might just be supporting other survivors." So I did. I went back to New Zealand. I wrote my memoir. That's the On Angels' Wings, my first book.
Yeah.
And then from there, people started reaching out and saying, "Well, where can I go for help? What can I do? I've experienced this." And I realized that for all the wonderful charities in New Zealand, there wasn't necessarily a place for people to come and share their stories or get tips to support the survivors in their lives, or feel permission to join a survivor community and have support. And so I guess I was shoulder tapped really by my angels to step up and set it up. And so Handing the Shame Back began, and it began in January this year.
Yeah.
And we now have our charitable foundation, handingtheshameback.org.
Yep.
And that is what we do.
Awesome. Yeah, wonderful. Well, it's wonderful to be a part of it, and be at the beginning of it all, because, well, there's a lot to do, but it's also a really exciting time. And I know a lot of the feedback that you get from your podcasts and your YouTube channel are just tremendous. So the other thing I really want to ask you is, what do you want survivors to feel like when they access the platforms that you share on?
A really good question, actually. Look, I just want them to feel held. I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel believed and supported. And I just want to say this. There is no expectation for anybody to speak out. If you come onto the channel and you hear a survivor speak, it may just resonate with you. And out of that, you may feel a little smidge of hope and that you're not alone. And that's all this is. Every time we speak, we hand the shame back. Every time you feel relieved at finding a community like this, you're handing the shame back.
Yeah.
Because it never belonged to us.
No, never did. No,
No.
absolutely right. And that's the thing that holds us back, isn't it? When we hold on to the shame, it's like a sort of another part of a fear. What will people think? Or it was my fault. All the array of things that come along with shame. So, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Gloria. So if there was one more thing that you'd want to share, what would that be?
I guess I see you, I stand beside you, and I believe you.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Gloria.